say Bernie has been part of the Amaroo VEE formation almost since day one. He's the original barnstormer and crowd pleaser, all rolled into one. Bernie's turn come from behind winning into an art form. It all looks so easy from the spectator terraces, but when viewed through the eye of race cam, only then do you appreciate just how close Formula V competition really is.
The idea is you have to stay in a tow, in a slipstream of the car in front of you, who obviously probably is the quicker car. If for some reason he makes a mistake, you pass him, of course, and you run like hell, you know, and you're going to win the race that way. That's the easy way.
Recognition is the most important factor of motor racing. It leads to media attention and therefore opens the door to sponsorship. Hanley's career dates back to the early Bathurst touring car era. He's always done his motorsport on a shoestring budget and reckons he's waited longer to be discovered than any other 10 competitors.
But it's never sort of clicked for me until the first meeting this year at Amaroo. I've met Stan Coffey and we just happened to talk in general, and he said, I could be interested in sponsoring. He asked me what sort of money I'm looking for. We discussed it, and he said, we might as well shake hands on that, and this is how it's happened.
We've mounted race cam onto Bernie's VEE for this afternoon's Coke Series track attack at Amaroo. If the little guy can repeat his Adelaide darting and weaving skills, it should be quite an encounter. Here's how the field will line up.
Bernie continues to tool along with Toledo. He's on the front row. Frank Kleinig, though, has got pole position. Bernie alongside him. And on the second row, David Cutts in a Spectre and Norm Johnson also sharing the second row. Then Stephen David and Ken Taylor on row 3, followed by Jim Rouston and David Smith. Then we've got Greg McCombie and Jeffrey Stone, followed by Phil Lewis and Gerard Mannion. That's just half of the field to go round here. That's the race cam shot of Bernie Henley's car. And, of course, the pictures being beamed up to our 7 chopper, circling the Amaroo circuit here to bring you these great pictures from race cam, and the flag's about to drop.
And away they go with Bernie Hanley on the outside, Frank Kleinig the inside. They're the best ones to jump. Then Norm Johnson getting a flyer too will move up here on the outside. There's about another half dozen trying to fight for racing room behind them, but it's going down head-to-head as they reach the top of this and Skyline. Frank Kleinig should have the run to the first turn, and he'll drop into Dunlop Loop leading from Bernie Hanley. Then take your pick, right behind another 12 of 14.
There's a race cam from 7 Sport tucked in behind Frank Kleinig round the back of the Amaroo Park circuit, through the big loop, down through Mazda, coming to Honda Corner, and the old stager. Well, there are 2 of them running 1-2, Frank Kleinig and Bernie Henley. Norm Johnston tucked in behind them with Stephen David, David Cutts, Ken Taylor. Greg McCombie made a good start as well. And further back in the field, Robert Vorton and Mal Barnes also showing up. But Kleinig making the pace, and Henley, and they've pulled away from car number 6, David Cutts, in 3rd place.
Great jump from Frank Kleinig. He's got himself around about 2.5 car lengths as they head up to the top of the hill. And look at this battle for the minor placings. Car number 24 in there, Ken Taylor. The remarkable thing about racing this weekend generally is that everybody's getting down to lap record or even under lap record time. The class record for Formula V is 59.58, held by this man, Frank Kleinig. And they qualified in a time of 59.50, or at least Frank did. Bernie hot on his tail in car number 1 in Toledo Tools entry. So head down, really suiting everybody.
On the corner this time, David Cutts sitting in behind Bernie Hanley. Ken Taylor coming back through the pack. Taylor starting out of position number 6 and moving up to be in company with this group vying for 2nd spot. Meantime, though, Frank Kleinig will lead them on to the start, finishing straight at Amaroo Park. There's Bernie Hanley carrying our 7 race cap as they head up Bitchapay Field again. And it looks like Bernie might have his hands full here. He's making the run on the outside is David Cutts. He'll get the line to the next turn, and he's taking a few with him. Here's Hanley as we pick up race cam coming over the top of this and Skyline. Whoop. They'll duck down into the right-hander, and this is where the interesting part of Amaroo now unveils itself. Bernie hugging here to the inside line.
That's Ken Taylor, who snuck up in front of him. You notice how sideways Ken was as he came through the early part of the loop. One of the other features of this racing is you don't back off. Formula V's are just flat to the stops the whole way. This is the battle for 3rd, and have a look at this guy on the inside, Norm Johnston in car number 4. He buys a bit of the action as well.
Pretty close here.
Flat changes the car as he goes down to the right-hander, the stop corner. And all the time, Frank Kleinig is just inching away from the field. David Cutts in second position, Ken Taylor up to third. Norm Johnston is fourth.
Once again, they make the run up Bitcher Pave Hill. Frank Kleinig not really with any pressure on him at this stage. Cutts, though, under a little pressure here. Ken Taylor making a run as well. And Taylor has taken Cutts. He now advances to second. Cutts is back to third. And Bernie's back with the boys.
Well, we've seen some miraculous comebacks from Bernie Henley before, but I don't know whether today's going to be one of them. He really got shuffled out of it there, and there's a fair space between him and race leader Frank Kleinig at the moment. And with David Cutts and Ken Taylor dueling in there for second spot, also Norm Johnston running fourth on the track at the moment. That's him just ahead of Bernie Henley. It's going to be tough. Bernie making a run at him on the outside, switches to the inside, coming down here to the corner of the lake, but he's got it covered.
Might just follow Bernie around for a lap at Amaroo Park Raceway, just see how close these Formula V's run together. Pretty close there, as you can see, with the guardrail. Bernie switches to the outside and will now try and run. How close are the wheels? Leaving no room for error there. Heading up Bitcher Pave Hill to the top of Nissan Skyline. Take the turn here on the left, float it across now to make sure that you're protected on the inside run to Dunlop. Bernie getting a little sideways in there.
Puts him back in fourth spot, though.
It keeps it in top gear all the way through that whole section of track, right up the straight, right through the loop. Interesting thing, I just had the clock on the leader. You can see Kleinig just off in the distance in the top right-hand corner of your screen. It's 2.8 seconds. That's the gap that Bernie Henley has to make up as they come down to the left-hander at Honda. Back one gear. He just barely backs off and he's into it again.
He's going to pick up the tail of these second and third place getters in a moment, I say. So he's not out of contention yet, Bernie Henley. Don't ever write him off, whatever you do.
He's very, very smooth. He's been around Amaroo Park a few times.
So's this man. Frank Kleinig, a man with as much experience here as Bernie Henley. Maybe hasn't quite captured the imagination as Bernie has in recent seasons here, but he's always mixing it when the chips are down. Oh, low. Norm Johnston's got him back.
I think that's actually Jim Rouston from Queensland, yep.
Well, he's come with a big run.
He's been stalking him for the last couple of laps, and the gap Kleinig to Hanley is now 2.4 seconds, but Bernie's one car back behind car 14, Jim Rouston. 5 laps down, 5 to go. Hanley, the leader of the series, with 9 points in the Coca-Cola Bottlers Formula V series. This is officially round 2. It was to have been the third, although all the points were scrubbed from the first meeting here earlier in the year. And Frank Kleinig, the leader of this race in the black car number 2, has 6 points to his credit. He's in second place. Greg McCrombie is third with 4 points.
And Kleinig looks like he might jump to the lead in the series the way things are going, because there's no pressure on him up front. All the pressure is right here.
This is the bit I love. You watch a touring car over here and it's all back off and arms and legs. These guys flat to the boards.
He's got to try and get back on the inside. Rouston falls for the 3-car trick. Bernie delivers that one nicely and closes the little exit there on the inside. They can make their own arrangements behind him. He'll cover his tracks here fairly well.
Some traffic mixed up in this pack. Norm Johnston is the car immediately behind Rouston. He's car number 4.
The exit Honda work their way down to the right-hander at the lake. Positions unchanged at this stage, with Frank Kleinig continuing to lead. Scrap still on. David Cutts back in second spot.
Just to give you an example of how competitive these cars are, 5.2 seconds separates the top 9 cars. And we're on our 7th lap. It's not a bad formula.
Well, Bernie seems to have lost the formula today. Back in 4th spot at the moment, still trying to fight off Jim Rouston. They've been at it hammer and tong the last 2 or 3 laps. Kleinig unworried up front, and these two running their own race here. Car 6, that's David Cutts, and car number 24, Ken Taylor. Running their own race, not able to make any headway on Kleinig. And I think they'd be pretty happy to get across the line here in second and third positions.
Well, Ralston has worked his way back past Bernie Hanley.
Never mind, there's a hill coming up shortly. Bernie will get by him again.
And Chris Lewis getting in there as well in the blue and yellow car number 32. He's right behind Bernie.
He's got him again.
That's good. He's come from 13th position on the grid, Chris Lewis.
Ralston bobs back again, so Bernie's going to have to do this one all over again. Some great pitches.
Oh, Chris Lewis has got problems. Hand in the air, pulls off to the side of the road. So that's one down.
Bernie doesn't get the run this time.
They are punting very hard when they get to the top of the hill. This is the battle for fourth position. Terrific shots from Sevens Race Cam.
Yes, they certainly are. Our engineering boys have been doing a lot of work to bring open wheeler pitches.
Tell you what,
very clear open wheeler pitches too.
Ralston doesn't mind using a piece of the road, does he?
He likes his bit. He only wants 12 foot, but he wants 6 of Bernie's and 6 of his own.
Bernie had his hand out there as they went down to the braking area. I don't know
Must have
whether
thought it was commercial break.
there may have been a flag out.
So they all close up here now. Coming up with 1 lap to go in this Coca-Cola Bottlers Formula VEE series. Round 3 at Amaroo Park Raceway. There's our race leader, Frank Kleinig. David Cutt still running in second spot. And then the scrap back with Hanley is just unbelievable.
Cool as a cucumber, Kleinig. Passes a discarded vehicle on the side of the road there as he comes off the top of the hill.
But I think he's done this one so easy it's almost unfunny. You never see a guy win a Formula V race like this at Amaroo Park.
I suppose it had to happen one day. I tell you what, if the first 3 cars weren't in the race, what we're watching at the moment is the battle, of course, for fourth, and behind Bernie there's about 8 cars stacked up. So this is going all the way down the line for fourth place. It's some sensational pictures coming from our race cam team here today at Sydney's Amaroo Park, and Bernie thinking about an inside run, floats it to the outside. Now watch him try and come back on the inside. He'll try and do that as the race leader is getting on with the business of winning, and that's Frank Kleinig. He'll go across the straight and we'll pick up this afternoon series round. Pretty close for second and third.
Ken Taylor, I think, has got second.
There's fourth place and the checkered flag going out for Bernie Hanley, who has taken us on another sensational ride around Amaroo Park Raceway. Let's have a look at the placings on the Castrol Oils 8 Oil scoreboard. Frank Kleinig, the race winner. Kenny Taylor takes second. David Cutts picks up third.